Hi, this is Guillermo from the Mexico movement, and today I want to talk about being mixed blood. Okay, there seems to be this attitude that we have in our communities, and when I'm saying our communities, I'm talking about Mexican, Central American, South American, our people from the Western Hemisphere, because of the lack of information and the lack of knowledge of who we are as a people. We tend to completely disconnect ourselves from identifying as an indigenous person if we have light skin. And I blame that on Eurocentric education and the media. And we have to keep in mind, first of all, before the invasion of our lands, before 1492, our part of the world, which is the Western Hemisphere, was the most diverse part of the planet, right? We had all different shades of brown, all shapes and sizes. We were tall, we were short, we were dark, we were light brown, dark brown. So first we have to get that into our mind, right? We have to understand that. Now, through the process of massive rape, cultural castration, and genocide, which is what started happening to us in 1492. Over the process of centuries, right? Now we are 5 centuries from the point of the occupation. There was massive rape. We do not like to talk about it. It's uncomfortable. We like to believe that we just married Europeans happily. We had beautiful weddings and we popped out mixed babies, and that's the way we came to be. Well, the reality is it's far from what really took place. Okay, you have to read what Europeans wrote themselves on how they were killing us. Okay, they didn't, first of all, they didn't even see us as human. Okay, much like they didn't see anybody else that was not white as human. So they went around raping women worldwide. And in our particular case here, it was part of the culture of how they kept us in control. Now, the massive rape that took place is not talked about. It's glamorized in Mexico and Central America because obviously Mexico and Central America are not being covered by Mexican Central Americans. The criollos, which are the descendants of the original Spaniards that still govern our countries, are still in control, and the culture and the social makeup of those countries, those occupied countries, want to reinforce white supremacy and the love of Europeans. So, us today, and I come across this a lot, right? Our people, they see what we're talking about and they're saying, well, I'm not full blood, I can't be indigenous. Or our people, come to me and say, well, look at you, you're not indigenous, you're not native. And because I don't fit into their stereotypical view of what is an indigenous person, or they themselves don't fit into that stereotypical view of what is an indigenous person, automatically they completely disconnect to that identity, right? And it could be for a lot of reasons. It could be for self-hate. It could be for lack of pride, thinking that, how can I identify? I'm not even, full blood. Well, let me tell you that we as an indigenous people are full blood and mixed blood indigenous people. The last 5 centuries will not completely erase who we are and then create us new on the planet, right? We as an indigenous people belong to an ancient connection, an ancient presence on this land that we are on today. So the fact that you are not full blood, those of us that are not full blood, does not take away your right to your culture and to your identity. Do not let Europeans, self-hating Mexicans, Central Americans, indigenous people tell you something else, okay? Now, that's a big crippling thing, mentally crippling realization, because we are so conditioned as a people to justify, right? I think it has to do with the fact that we're on our own continent, and if the majority of the people of the Western Hemisphere start reclaiming who they are, then there's going to be an inevitable takeover. They already think we're taking over, right? And yeah, in demographics and populations we are, but we are not growing in our mind. We are not growing in our knowledge. We are not growing in our connection to our heritage. So I want to say that being a mixed blood and full blood indigenous person completely unites you to your heritage. Okay, you have to keep in mind that we've been here, we've been developing our culture, we've been developing our languages, we've been developing our own way of life for thousands of years. And recently they've even dated it to 50,000 years ago, right? So all of those years, right? All of those years that we were indigenous people and indigenous free people, and I'm talking about Mexicans, Central Americans, South Americans, Native Americans, all of us on the Western Hemisphere, all of a sudden, in 1492, everything that we were, that we are supposed to just completely ignore, completely brush under the rug and say, oh, we were nothing. You know, who we are today represents what happened to us, the genocide that we have been subject to, but that does not redefine who we are. It adds to who we are. It adds a very specific experience, a very traumatic genocidal experience, but it does not rob us of who we are. Okay, so we have to be very honest with ourselves, and we have to be very honest upon researching our history to realize that what our ancestors went through was rape. Okay, our ancestors were raped. It doesn't feel good to say that. It's very uncomfortable to say that, but it's the truth. There's no nice way to say it. Disney could make 10 Pocahontas movies if they want. You know, all this kid version of history, but you cannot sanitize what happened to us. Okay, the fact that 95% of our population was wiped out, in some areas 100%, mass rape that took place, we have to understand what brought us here today to look like we look. Okay, so that's one thing that I want to emphasize. I get it all the time. You look at you, you're not native, you're not indigenous. Well, says who? I mean, really, do you want me to go to Europe and Russia and all these Nordic European countries and be like, hey guys, I'm back home, welcome back? You think they're gonna look at me like, oh yeah, come on down, you know, you're white, you fit the culture? No, I'm an indigenous person. Just like me, many of us out there are confused because we feel that if we don't fit this specific image of an indigenous person, that we're not. Let's not do that to each other. Let's not do that to ourselves. Let's understand that we have a wide variety of brown colors in our community. And let's not let colonialism and that rape experience define who we are. Those of us that are mixed blood are indigenous people. We're full blood, we're indigenous people to this continent. Do not let European colonialism define who you are, and let's not let them delete anything of who we were. Okay, we are a continuation of who we were thousands of years ago, but we are up against the challenge of white supremacy and Eurocentric ideologies that govern our lands, govern our culture, our politics, and our resources. Citlali with the Mexica movement, I just wanted to share that with you because I've been getting bombarded with that. We are an indigenous people. The term that we like to introduce is Nicantlaca. We belong here. We are mixed blood and full blood indigenous people. Nowhere to go. This is where we are. This is where we will be. And we will understand that identity because we are starting the decolonizing process. Thank you for watching. I will be posting more videos soon. Please share, talk about this, send me questions, concerns, whatever thoughts you want to share with me. Check out our videos on our website on www.mexica-movement.org. Thank you very much for watching. Citlali from the Mexica Movement.